Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a week since I last uploaded, and I just want to say real quick before we get into this, and I'll say some stuff at the end. Thank you so much for all the views and growth that the channel has had within the past week. It's truly been amazing, but um, we'll talk about that later. Right now, we're going to be talking about getting into the Imperial Guard, or as I like to call, Welcome into the Imperial Guard. Now, as many as you know, the 9th edition box set for the Imperial Guard is set to come out on November 25th. I know that a lot of the Guard players, and maybe some people trying to get into the Guard, have decided that they want to get the box set. And I would say, honestly, that is one of the best ways to start the Imperial Guard. You get a company command squad, you get 2 units of Acadian shock troopers, you get the new field ordnance batteries, and a new, or I should say, reimagined scout sentinel or armored sentinel, depending on your preference. Plus the new codex and the command deck. So really great value. But what I want to get into is starting Imperial Guard. If you're not going to get the command box set, instead want to wait until you get till the codex is sold separately, or if you feel that the units just aren't what you want in the box set, which I would say highly recommend getting it. But if not, I'm going to kind of view my own opinions on what you should get. Now, I'm just letting you know this is not a competitive build of what you should get. This is not something that if you show up, it's going to do a lot. I want this to be you're welcoming into the Guard, but very slowly. When I actually started playing Warhammer 40k and I got into the Guard, I actually didn't go straight into just having a bunch of Guardsmen and Leman Russes. I actually wanted to start small as terms of firepower and build my way up. I started out with just simply a few Guardsmen, 2 Chimeras, some heavy weapons, so a few Scout Sentinels, a Commissar, and then it took me a minute, but then I finally got myself like a Lehman Rush, like Demolisher variant. So overall, it was a pretty small list. Not so much in terms of firepower, but to me, it allowed me to focus on the little things, and that's what I want to focus on today. All right, so the units that I would like to recommend to you guys are as following: a Cadian Castellan, a Primaris Psyker, 2 units of infantry, not the Cadian shock ones, because I know some people, as much as we see Cadians everywhere, we just don't like playing them. Sometimes we maybe want ours to be more Valhallan or Vostroyan themed. So just 2 sets of the standard infantry squads, a heavy weapons team, I'm sorry, not heavy weapons team, a heavy weapons squad, 2 Scout Sentinels, and a Chimera. Now you're probably thinking, Frost, this is a very interesting list. Why do something like this? Well, essentially it's almost one of everything. You get a commander, you get a psyker to learn about the psychic phase, you get a commissar, because you gotta have a commissar if you're gonna be in the Guard, and he gives it that nice thematic look, and it gives you the ability to learn about military tempestus orders, 2 squads of troopers that allow you to kind of customize the way how you want it, both painting wise and the way you want to run your unit wise. You get 2 Scout Sentinels. I know that you can get the armored variant, but it's they're a little bit more expensive point cost wise, not price wise. They come in the same box set, and then a Chimera. You get every different kind of option minus the super heavies, which I save the Bane blades for later kids. But this list right here is just an all-around compass for you to try every single kind of flavor for the guard, but not so much where it's overpowering. It's enough to give you a little bit of a taste. So let's break down each individual unit and give my reasons as to why I think you should give these units a try. So the first unit is the Castellan Commander. Super easy to understand. He's your hero. He is your commanding officer. He is going to be your warlord. He's going to have two orders. You're going to give him a warlord trait, a relic. You don't have to worry about the 4 other guys like you would with the company command squad. He costs less than them. He actually costs 25 points less than them, so you're saving on points. And I'm pretty sure you're also going to be saving on cost-wise too when you go to pay for him. So really simple unit for you as far as being your warlord. Easy to pack up, put away, and it gives you that start of how you want your generals to look. All right, up next we have the Primaris Psyker. I want you, when you come into Warhammer, or if you're already familiar with it, to understand that even though Guard isn't really a psychic-bound army, it's always important to learn the different phases of the game. And so by getting a Primaris Psyker as your second, commander in your detachment, you get to learn a little bit of the psychic phase, and they can also, help buff up your units. Again, not going to get into the specifics of what psychic traits you should take and all that. That's, again, going to be your preference. So nice little fun unit to get and to help you understand the psychic phase. The Commissar, one of the most iconic units for the Guard Regiment. You can't have an Imperial Guard army without one of these guys. Commissar, to sum it up for you, can also now give orders to troops. Back in 8th edition, they actually didn't. I'm not too familiar whether they could or not in previous editions, but they couldn't in 8th, and now they can in 9th. So, but they have a separate set of orders compared to the mechanized orders for vehicles and the company orders given out by the company commanders and Castellans and, all of them. So this guy is mainly going to be helping out with morale and anything having to do with things based on morale. So I think it's a fun unit to have. Adds a lot of flavor to your army, and overall, it's just a very cool looking unit. All right, so now we're getting to the bread and butter of the list, your standard infantry squad. Now in the new codex, there's actually 4 different types of infantry. You have your Cadian Shock, your veterans, which are the Death Korps Krieg models, your Catachan jungle fighters, and lastly, your standard infantry guys. Now each squad does a little bit of something different. However, the infantry squad doesn't really have all that many special rules, and so you don't have to worry about that. And I think it's the easiest unit to pick up as far as for infantry. You can put in a special weapon in the squad. You can give the sergeant a power sword or plasma pistol, and you can add in a Vox comlink into the squad, which will allow when your commander is giving you orders, it has a bit of an extended reach. You can also switch out 2 of your guys for a heavy weapons team, whether they be a mortar launcher, an autocannon, heavy bolter, or a las cannon. So a lot of versatility for the squad. So definitely these are a must-have for your detachment. They can run around doing orders. They can run around, or I'm sorry, not doing orders. They can receive orders to give them a buff. They can do actions. They can take objectives and all of that. So really, overall, one of the best units in the game. Now, I'll have to let you know that this is the Guard, so be prepared for your soldiers to die rather quickly. All right, so your fast attacks are going to be 2 Scout Sentinels. Now, Sentinels got a little bit of a boost in this edition. They're a lot more durable. They have a new range refresh. Personally, I like the older ones, but to each their own. These guys have a special ability to where they can do a pre-game move. So they're able to move out on the board for you a little bit better. They're much more durable than your standard guys. They have a little bit heavier firepower. So overall, a nice little unit to understand what your fast attacks can do and kind of just help take away some firepower done on by your infantry soldiers. All right, now we're getting to the heavy weapons squads, which have a little bit more firepower. They have the option of autocannons, las cannons, heavy bolters. This is your hardest, one of your harder hitting units in your little detachment. And you can customize them however you want. You can have 3 of the same, you can have 2 same, 1 different, or you can have each one different. It's all up to you. Definitely, these are something more to keep back in the back of your army, as they don't really move around a whole lot. I know that the pictures that you see here, they're the older bases, and the new ones are going to be getting a smaller one. However, what I have been told is that if you have them on the older bases, like I do right now, you don't have to rebase them. So kudos to GW for doing that. So yeah, this is your harder hitting unit. I think it's important to have, because you always need some suppressing fire for your infantry when they're moving up the board. All right, last but certainly not least is the Chimera. This is your transport unit. It can carry up to 12 soldiers, so that would be an infantry squad and maybe a commander and the psyker, or the commander and the commissar, or whatever you want to put in there. This helps transport your soldiers further up the board and keeps them nice and safe until obviously they get out of the vehicle. So really overall good unit, nice and durable. Can't go wrong without them. You're never not going to need a Chimera. So definitely I recommend getting it. Like when I started out, I had 2 Chimeras before I even came close to getting a Lehman Russ. So highly recommend getting this unit. And that really does about it for the unit review. I went ahead and did a little bit of setup. I just took 2 angles of how you could set up the army. You have your scouts up forward, so because they can pre-objectively move. You want to keep your soldiers kind of in the middle. I like the sandwich in between, so that way if you want to have them hop the Chimera, they can hop in it. You kind of want to keep your commanders a little bit in the back, so that way they can't be bum rushed the first round. Obviously, keep your heavy weapons off to the side, so that way they're not in the way of your infantry or your tanks or anything like that. Like I said, this is a small list. It's 500 points, enough to start a nice little combat patrol game. I had this list when I first started out, and I always had a lot of fun. Did I win a lot of games? No, but like I said, this is not a list that's going to have you win games. It's something for you to start out with and for you to get a taste of the guard. Now, am I saying that you need to go out and buy these units because this is what you have to do? No. In fact, there are way better people who could probably give you list building ideas, but this is just my take. Morty and Glory is a great example. He has so many good tactic videos and a better in-depth analysis of units than I ever could. But I'm not a tactics channel. I am just a simple guy with a microphone trying to spread his love for Warhammer. But this is what I used when I started out, and I had a lot of fun with it. In fact, though I can have so many different kinds of lists and building around the army, my most memorable games were the ones in the beginning where I didn't really have a whole lot, but I learned to work with what I had. And these units, I think once you get these down, start expanding into whatever you want. And hopefully you guys take this into heart. If not, it's okay. But if you do, great. I'd love to hear your opinions on what you think of the list. I'd like to know if you've ever tried this before, if you actually do try this list, what you think of it. So yeah, that's really about the end of the video. But what I wanted to conclude with is, really, guys, thank you so much. like I said in the beginning, I did not expect the amount of growth that I did with the latest video. When I first started the channel a little over a month ago, I had no idea that in a month's time, I would be getting a view that has over 3,000, almost 4,000 views. Now, that comparable to like a Mr. V's video? No, it's a drop in the bucket. But to me, it means everything. It shows that even if you don't subscribe, that you listened and you were able to sit through the video or not. You know, I'm not the most entertaining guy in the world, but you guys were able to listen to what I said and hopefully enjoy it. The growth has been fantastic. I gained over 40 subs. You know, I was thinking that I'd be lucky if I was able to reach 100 by the time the end of the year, and now look at us. I'm less than 15 subscribers away from reaching 100. So I just want to say thank you to everyone in the Warhammer community, to Tim or Morty and Glory for allowing me to share some of my videos on his platform and help pushing the channel. To some of you guys in the Discord who are with me, who have helped push the channel as well and watched my videos. And to just you, the viewer, who decided to click on my channel and subscribe. You know, it's not the most quality of videos, but you guys thought I was at least worthy enough to leave a comment or a like or even a subscription. So thank you so much. Guard Codex and the box that's going to be coming out, so expect a lot of videos from that from me. So that is it, guys. Signing off.